Have you ever stopped and wondered what really makes you, you? I mean, is it your DNA, the choices you make every day, or is it something that happened a long, long time ago, maybe even before you can remember? Today, we're going to dive into this powerful idea that our earliest years don't just, influence us. They literally build the foundation of who we become for the rest of our lives.
It's a massive question, isn't it? Nature, nurture, our own decisions. Well, there's a really compelling argument that the real answer starts right from the moment we're born. It's a journey that sets the stage for everything that comes after. So let's get into it.
Okay, so first things first, we kind of have to shift our thinking a little bit. See, human development isn't like a video game, with a bunch of separate levels you have to clear. Nope, it's one long, continuous story where every single chapter builds directly on the one that came before it.
Let's use an analogy. Imagine your life is a house being built. Well, your childhood, that's the foundation. And you know how it goes. If that foundation is strong, solid, and built with care, the whole house, your adult life, is going to be so much more stable and resilient no matter what storms come along.
So what exactly are those essential building blocks for a strong foundation? Well, it turns out there are some very specific, super crucial psychological needs that every single child has. These are the absolute pillars that have to be there to support everything else.
And let's be really clear about what we mean here. When we say core psychological needs, we're talking about the fundamental, non-negotiable requirements for healthy emotional and mental growth. These aren't just, nice-to-haves. They are absolute essentials.
And here they are, the big four. Safety, the need to feel protected and secure. Love, the need to feel truly cherished. Acceptance, being valued for exactly who you are, no strings attached. And freedom, having the space to explore, to make mistakes, and to grow. These four needs are the pillars holding up that entire structure we've been talking about.
But here's the flip side. What happens if those pillars are shaky, or maybe not even there at all? Well, that's where the trouble starts. This is how cracks begin to form in that critical foundation of our lives.
And listen, these are not small, temporary issues. When a core need like safety or love isn't met in childhood, that deficit doesn't just disappear. It creates real, lasting vulnerabilities, actual cracks in our psychological foundation that can cause instability for years and years to come.
You can actually see this ripple effect play out. It's a clear chain reaction. It all starts with those unmet needs in childhood. That, in turn, can create all sorts of internal struggles later in life, things like anxiety or deep mental conflict. And eventually, those internal battles start showing up on the outside as lasting behavioral problems. It's a clear path from cause to consequence.
Okay, I know that all sounds pretty intense. But, and this is a big but, here is the good news. We are not powerless in this. There's a clear path forward, a path toward resilience. It's all about reinforcing that foundation, not just for ourselves, but for the people who come after us too.
And a huge piece of this puzzle is making a massive shift in how we see things. For way too long, the old way of thinking was just to label a kid's behavior as good or bad. Simple as that. But the new, and frankly more helpful view, asks us to see that behavior as a form of communication. It's a sign pointing to an unmet need. Is a child acting out because they feel scared or invisible? Asking that question changes everything.
So, how do we actually put this new view into practice? It really boils down to a three-part plan. First, we have to increase awareness of just how critical these early years really are. Second, we need to promote early intervention and give parents the support they need. And third, we've got to educate entire communities, teachers, doctors, caregivers, all of us, to recognize the signs and respond with understanding instead of judgment.
And this is where it all comes together. Because this isn't just about individual kids or individual families. This is about building a healthier, more resilient society for every single one of us. When we help strengthen the foundation for one person, we end up strengthening it for everybody.
And a resilient society really rests on these three key pillars. First, high-quality early care from the very beginning. Second, genuinely supportive environments, both at home and out in the world. And third,
Informed interventions that get to the root cause of a problem instead of just putting a Band-Aid on the symptom.
At the end of the day, it all comes down to this single, powerful idea. Early care, supportive environments, and informed interventions are key to building a healthy society. That isn't just a nice thought, it's a practical blueprint for the future. By focusing on these 3 areas, we're making a direct investment in the strength and well-being of our entire community.
So, as we wrap this up, I really want to leave you with a question to think about. Now that you know just how important that early foundation is for an entire lifetime, what's one thing you can do? It could be big, it could be small. How can each of us in our own lives help build a stronger, more supportive foundation for the next generation?